happening, inflation is beginning to fall. Officials have confirmed that millions of Americans do qualify for the extra benefits. It includes seniors and retirees that are experiencing financial struggles. And due to the current high cost of expenses, I'll be sharing with you how much you're eligible for. According to the National Council on Aging, there are more than 5 million adults who did not have access to healthy food in 2019. More than 10% of Americans over 65 actually still live in poverty. Even though SNAP is a lifeline for these people, benefits are transferred through the EBT cards. The average SNAP benefit for one person's senior household is $104 a month. One study found that expanded SNAP benefits enacted over the crisis have kept more than 4 million people above the poverty line in the last quarter of the year. Childhood poverty also fell by 14% during the same period, but the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities estimates that at least every household enrolled in SNAP benefits is receiving $95 a month or less since the emergency allotment boost has expired. Because according to USA.gov, most states offer food assistance to lower income people. You can search online for programs near you using the Food Administration and Nutrition Service search tool. There's also the Seniors Farm Market Nutrition Program, which provides low-income seniors access to locally grown products. For the fiscal year of 2022, 57 states and territories granted to operate this program. This program was going to help several people out. It's called the Commodity of Supplemental Food Program. It also is going to provide a monthly package of healthy groceries, fruits, vegetables, and cheese, milk, and other such things to local income seniors. Now, participants must be at least 60 years old with an income at or below 130% of the poverty level in the United States. But states, territories, and some communities may also have local initiatives ranging from grocery delivery to subsidized meal options. There are seniors' food pantries that have special hours for seniors to shop for food groceries as well. And also, perhaps more critically, a core inflation, everybody, measure that excludes volatile food items and energy items, has passed significantly a 4.8% rate. Although that's still higher than the central bank's 2% target, news has raised a poised question. How much credit does the Federal Reserve for lowering inflation so far? Some economists ascribe little to none of the progress on inflation or historic Fed interest rate increases. But the hikes, everybody, get blamed for doing the same damage. It includes propelling mortgage rates higher, pushing up the rates for car loans and credit cards, as well as threatening to tip the economy into recession. The former top economic advisor in the former president's administration has stated most of what has happened has not been Fed-related. Instead, along with other economists, they pointed to unwinding of crisis-related supply chain bottlenecks, a sharp drop in commodity prices, and a pullback in spending. Now, the people cite that two pieces of evidence are for core inflation. And now, economists generally agree that the main reason inflation has slowed is that supply chain snags have improved in the early days of the crisis. Economists generally agree the main reason for this is because of the early days. Americans were stuck at home or lots of TVs and computers. Meanwhile, truck drivers and other warehouse workers have to work during these times. But so far, things are not done yet. Joe Biden can still get it done.
Folks, we're doing all this, reducing the deficit at the same time. Just in my first 2 years in office, my team and I have reduced the deficit by $1.7 trillion, more than any president had, just in 2 years. And the budget agreement I negotiated without having to give away anything of consequence reduced the deficit by another $1 trillion. You know, reversing 40 years of Republican trickle-down economics that helped few but hurt the middle class, it's going to take some...
Surprisingly resilient, and the economy added a robust 263,000 jobs already. A lot of jobs being created, and that means more stimulus. Now, this is just above the half-century low that was tied early this year, although major tech and media companies, including Amazon and Twitter, have laid off thousands of workers. Initial jobless claims remain low, and new numbers published this week show for the first time that applications for unemployment benefits edged up at 225,000. That's still low historically and almost exactly where jobless claims were a year ago. Economists have told CNN that there's a reason to be optimistic about the economy, and that it could skirt into recession. Without mass layoffs, it's unlikely consumers will stop spending and the economy suffer a downturn. The cost of living is just still way too high. We all agree on that, everybody. You guys agree with that the cost of living is too high? If you do, tell me in the comments, because the rate of inflation appears to have peaked. Consumer prices soared by 7% over a year in November. At almost any other point in the past 40 years, that would be very high. But this marked the 5th straight month of improvement and a significant cool down from 9% in June. It's also the lowest annual inflation rate in nearly a year. After spiking $5 a gallon for the first time ever in June, gas prices have plunged again, and the national average for regular gas recently declined to $3.10 a gallon. That's an 18-month low. By the way, how you guys doing on gas? Do you think President Biden should do better on this and lower the gas prices? Is it still too expensive for you guys? Tell me in the comments. And continue watching because gas prices are expected to climb again this spring and summer. For now at least, experts are now forecasting a return to $5 a gallon. For much of the past year, wages have been hot inflation, but that means stimulus checks should be sent out faster, right? The Fed's warning of inflation, and it's the reason the risk of a recession is significant. Central bank is effectively slamming the brakes on the economy. The spike in borrowing costs has already set off a deep slump in the housing market, and the fears that the Fed will eventually overdo it, raising interest rates so high and keeping them there for so long that it causes a recession. Fed officials have been signaled that they could be ready to pause their inflation-fighting payments and campaign in the late winter or early in the spring. Jerome Powell has made it clear that the Fed isn't even anywhere near ready to hit the economy. So, South Carolina taxpayers are set to receive a rebate worth $800 very soon. All taxpayers who filed their tax forms by the October 17th deadline are eligible and should be able to get the stimulus in the next couple of days. He told the Wall Street Journal, "I respect Kirsten Sinema and what her concerns may be, but I think basically our financial situation is getting worse and not better. So we better have a better way of looking at it. So that there are many ways to pay for such ideas that do not include tax rate increases that could hurt small businesses and our economic competitiveness while we continue to emerge from a crisis and economic downturn." Senator Kirsten Sinema's opposition to tax rates have already prompted Democrats to scramble for new ways to finance their plans, and also to expand healthcare, childcare, and education. So far, Manchin has said he backs hiking the corporate tax rate to 25% as part of a future spending bill. So what are your thoughts on this? Will Joe Manchin get it done? And the different changes, demands from both senators underscore the difficulty and tricky path ahead for Democrats trying to move forward with President Biden's spending bill. Manchin has already said that he would like to see changes made to the version of the bill that was passed in the House of Representatives. It's also important to remember, everybody, that lawmakers need all Senate Democrats to support another package to push it through the 50-50 chamber. And the good news, everybody, is that most lawmakers are optimistic about getting the massive spending bill passed this month. That includes President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. During a recent interview with Politico, the Commerce Secretary said that Joe Manchin is gettable on a revised Build Back Better package and a key part of President Biden's domestic agenda. So far, everybody, Biden has announced that lawmakers will likely have to remove provisions of free community college to get the spending bill passed. And during a news conference, Biden said, "I think we can break the package up and get as much as we can done now." It's definitely important, everybody, that the Biden administration does pass more financial relief sooner than later. Biden said it was clear that there was support for the climate change provisions, like a production of tax credits for a range of industries.